welcome to Under the Hood Sports. I'm your host with the most, Johnny Hill. Hey man, and you are in the move, in the groove for a new thing I like to call Talk Your Talk. Yes, sir. We bring people on and they come and talk. They talk. We give them their flowers. And that is one thing about Under the Hood Sports I'm trying to expand. We need to give people their flowers and cherish them while they still here. And I got a lady who means so much to me, and it's so good to have Miss Brandy Tate. I don't know if you don't know who Miss Brandy is. You're gonna know by the end of this. The reason I say it's so good to bring Miss Brandy Tate on, Miss Brandy, is because Women's History Month, and what better? I can't think of a better woman in sports right now who have meant a lot to me to highlight. This lady has done it all. It's inspired me because, quick backstory, I went to the University of Memphis. Another lady who has changed my life is Miss TK. She was my radio instructor, my teacher, and also she was close friends with Miss Brandy. And I always dreamed about working at ESPN or a broad station, like on the national level. And Miss TK told me she had a friend named Miss Brandy Tate, who works for ESPN, also is a director, and she do amazing work. And just not knowing her at all, that inspired me. So, Miss Brandy, we got to build a close relationship. I call her like my auntie, my mom, in this journalism stuff.
Auntie, yeah. Come on, TT. Auntie status. Let's go.
Yeah, yes. And I really am grateful to have her in my life because she really has changed it for the better. Miss Brandy, welcome to Under the Hood Sports. How you
Thank
doing?
you. Good. How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing great, Miss Brandy.
Good.
And one thing about it, I just wanted to give you flowers because one thing I learned, you gotta tell people they matter now, not later.
That's
And
true.
you mean so much to me, and you have changed my life, and not just mine. I know there's countless of other people you have changed their lives because that's just who you are. So, Miss Brandy, let's get down to it.
Let's do
Why
it.
journalism? Okay, let's get down to it. What made you want to get into the realm of journalism? Want to do that thing? What made you want to do that?
You know what? I always talked a lot. I always asked a lot of questions. I was always, as people say, curious. I was just nosy. I always talked a lot. Um, and I went to Overton High School because my folks was like, "No, you're not going to Orange Mountain. You're not going to Melrose. You got Melrose ain't the same. You got to go somewhere else."
You gotta go
So
somewhere.
I ended up going to Overton High School. And Overton High School it was a performing arts school. It is a performing arts school still, and they would have extra classes emphasizing on special talents. And one of them was broadcasting. And I was like, I saw kids walk around making demos. I was like, what kind of demos are y'all making? What is that? Right? They was making demos for the radio station there. And I was like, wait a minute. There's a radio station here? Once I found that out, I was in. I was like, yo, we get to play music, talk about the music and the industry. Oh, done. I'm set, right? And so just like you have a mentor, the person who's really starting me on this journey, his name is Mr. Roger Bethel, and he is still in the Mississippi area today. I couldn't tell you what he's doing, but I'm sure he's inspiring young people because he always has. And so at the time, we used to have like 5 minutes where the principal would read the morning minutes or morning notes or special stuff in the morning. The special announcements, it was so boring. Everybody fell asleep doing them. I was like, yo, can we take those? Can we take those? Because we actually had a TV set that we had got from Channel 3, like the old TV set in Memphis. It's a CBS affiliate in Memphis. I was like, can we just get two people and we do the own morning announcements? And he was like, if y'all think y'all can pull it off, stay less. So I found me two anchors. There's these two girls who were very good at reading, and I pushed that thing to the limits. So it would take us 2 hours almost to record and edit. I mean, we had an old school edit thing, and for 3 minutes, 4 minutes in the morning, but it was cool because we was able to do other things. And I remember one of the things was because I was executive producer, because I gotta run something, right? I
Yeah.
gotta I got to run the business, right? So
Gotta be in charge.
I got to be, uh, it was back in Memphis when juking was real big, right? And all the boys after school would be in the parking lot dancing. I'm the dance off, and I was like, yo, why don't we make a juking contest? You know what I'm saying? And we'll crown somebody, and then after a month or two later, we'll do another one. You have to come for their crown, right? Mr. Pepper, like, I don't know what this is. I don't know if is this game stuff. And I was like, no, 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 it's just dancing. And it became a hit. Like everybody was trying to get in on the juking contest. Like, and this guy named Marshall, we call him Prince Marshall. He reigned for a long time. And they even got him into the broadcasting because he was like, yo, I could do this and still be myself. It was seen as cool. So we was like the cool, we was the AV geeks, but we were the cool kids. But I knew then I had found something that I like to do. I knew that I can inform, I can persuade, and I can really have a voice, right? And like most people wanted to be in front of the camera, I didn't want to be in front of the camera. The only reason I liked radio from the get-go is because it was no cameras. I can create. Radio was different because you had to create this whole persona, this whole relationship with somebody that don't know what you look like, you don't know what they look like. All you have is your voice and the music that you all equally love, right? So I love that because I had to create this community with my voice. So absolutely love it. Got into Tennessee State. You know, I got into a couple of schools, but I ended up choosing Tennessee State and never looked back. And once I got there, man, I knew what I wanted to do. Like I knew this was for me. I didn't know exactly which way I was going to get to my point, but I knew I wanted to be in this field. It was either going to be the radio, TV, music industry was going to be something. I thought I was going to be like the next Queen Latifah. I thought I was going to have like my own firm up in Brooklyn, New York with my girls, like living single out here in the world, that, you know, chilling. Life doesn't work out like you think it is. You know? But yeah, I found my passion. And I was good at it. I was good at picking up on things and making something good.
Yes, ma'am.
And helping find the best in people. So sometimes you have to know all your talents are not always in front of the camera. Sometimes it's behind the camera and it's helping somebody else shine. And I knew I was good at that.
Miss Brandy, you really are. And Miss Brandy, you did say you went to Tennessee State University.
Graduated. Not just went.
Oh,
Graduated.
my fault, Miss. I'm gonna set it up, Miss Brandy. Let me set it up.
Graduate. You know, a lot of people go, they don't graduate. Graduate. Okay. All right, come on, go ahead. I'm teasing. Come on.
Miss Brandy. Okay. You graduated from Tennessee State University, and I salute to you, HBCU. Yeah. But what made you want to take that route? Because there are other opportunities. Of course, I went to, University of Memphis.
I didn't want to stay home. Everybody from Memphis, I didn't want to stay home.
Yeah.
I knew I didn't want to stay home. I knew TSU was growing. I knew it had good roots, right? Really, my choices were Jackson State or TSU.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, because TSU gave me more money. That's really probably what it was about. I was poor. I'm from the hood. We ain't got nothing. You know, so you go where you got the most money from. And TSU had the most money because I stayed in state. And I'm glad. I think it was the right place for me, right? Because I met people from all over the world. You know, because my folks like either you're gonna go to college or you're gonna go to FedEx University. You're gonna do something. You're not sitting in this house doing nothing.
And everybody worked at FedEx University.
It took one night at FedEx University, and I was like, nope, nope, this ain't for me. This is not my ministry.
Miss Brandy, I couldn't graduate from FedEx University. I started throwing them boxes. I said, oh,
drop
no,
out. I'm a FedEx dropout, baby. I'm a FedEx dropout. Real quick, one night. Didn't even stay long enough for the uniform. Got the sweatshirt. That's it. One night. Couldn't do it. I was like, nah, this is not for me. But TSU taught me so much more than that, right? TSU taught me, because my mind was set on MTSU. But TSU gave me the most money. I was like, well, I'll go to TSU for a couple of years and I transfer. No, once I got there and I fell in love with where I was, I fell in love with the professors, the school, my community. It really taught me a lot. I had to work harder. And that was a challenge for me. I was like, okay, bet. You want me to work harder? I'll work harder. Let's go. That's what I did. They didn't have a studio. They didn't have nothing. We had more in high school than they had in college.
Yeah.
So, but I knew what I wanted.
Miss Brandy, you are a hard worker, and that is that's something that I learned like when I first talked to you. You told me how you used to be a part of a street team and you used to pass out flyers, and how you also, for the people who don't know, you also worked at Channel 3, WREG Channel
Yeah,
3. You was a TV director. all,
yeah,
all that stuff before you made it to ESPN. You put
correct.
in a lot of time, work that nobody even know. People just see that you working for ESPN, but there was a lot of work that you put in. It didn't happen overnight. So, Miss
Absolutely.
Brandy, talk about the grind to it, because journalism, it's a grind. It's not going to happen overnight.
Listen, that's the first thing I tell kids when I go talk to them. If you're not ready to put in the work and you're not ready to give up your weekends and your holidays, and sometimes missing things, you need to go to a bank and work that 9 to 5 or the 8 to 4. But this is not the field for you. And as long as I've been in this field, it's getting smaller, right? Because now you have, let's be honest, AI and robotics are taking over a lot of things, right? I mean, I remember starting at Channel 3 and we had a guy who graduated, who retired from being a camera op. He was a camera operator for 35 years. You, you can't retire from doing that no more. That's not an option. You got to do 10 things to be able to stay in there to retire.
Yeah.
So times have really changed. But I've always been about the hustle. Listen, if you ever been poor before, one thing I knew I wasn't going to do is be poor again. If you know how to cook sugar bread, how to use that carnation milk to make your cereal taste good, like I've been poor. Like you're talking about poor enough where your lights cut off, you have to go get a stitch cord and run into your neighbor's house. So at least you can keep the refrigerator and one fan going. Oh, I'm not going back. That's what I'm not doing. I'm not living that life, right? So I knew then I had to hustle. So at Channel 3, I was working at Channel 3, I was working at Walgreens, and I was working at FedEx Kinko's. Oh, and when I changed, I went and did the Grizzlies too. And whatever came to town, like it was, I didn't need to sleep. I was young. I was in my early 20s. I was like, sleep for what? Let's make this money. Because I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to figure this thing out. So I did whatever I could, whatever job that came that paid the bills, but also those other jobs, working at those other jobs, those other places. I didn't like it, but it let me work my passion at Channel 3 because it wasn't paying that much. So I needed to
Mhm.
work those other jobs to pay bills so that I can work there to be my passion. So I figure it out, right? So, and listen, you're gonna have setbacks. Listen, when I came out of college, my first job, I was a promotions director at at a couple radio stations in Shreveport, Louisiana. Happy I graduated with a job. Guess what? 6 months later, I was fired. I had to come on back home and start all over. And you're gonna have setbacks. But what do you do with that? That was a setup for the next thing. So, you just have to be able to change and just renovate just reinvent yourself and be ready to move on to the next thing whenever's possible. But that taught me something too, right? So you take every lesson. Sometimes every fail is not a fail; it's a learn, it's a lesson. It
Yeah.
gets you to where you need to go, right? So, because if I never would have gotten fired, I never would have came home. I never would have started working at Channel 3. I never would have gotten to where I really needed to be if I didn't. Because if I stayed there, then I just would have kept climbing there, and that may not have been my path,
Yeah.
So you learn a lot. So yeah, that's what it is. It's a lot of grind to this. Because even when, listen, I went to, and you know about this, NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists, in 2008 or 9. I think it was, I don't know which one, it was in Tampa. And I heard it was a guy there hiring for directors from ESPN. I chased that dude down for 3 days. I would come sit at the booth, and every time I would get there, I would have other places, like other interviews and stuff going on. By the time I get to the booth, he'd be like, "Oh, you just missed him. He may be coming back." Okay, I'll sit. I sat and waited. By the third day, I was like, "Can you just show me a picture of what he looked like?" It's like, "I don't think we have a picture. Show me something." Somebody pulled up his email profile with his picture. That's all I needed. I tracked him down. I was out there trying to find him. And then I got to him. He was like, "Really?" He's like, "Okay." I showed him everything. He was like, "Okay, let's see how we do." Right. And it brought me up for an interview. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is the bag. About to come tear this thing up." It took 2 years. It still took 2 years to get where I needed to get. So it's not easy. It doesn't come automatically. right? It took me 2 years still to get up to Connecticut to be at ESPN. Oh, by the way, when I got here, the grind didn't stop. Yes, I didn't have multiple jobs, but I had to work in multiple ways to get where I want to be in my position now.
Yeah. And Miss Brandy, that type of work ethic is very like because it's like, yeah, like you make me feel like I need to hustle a little more. Yeah, for real. Okay. Miss Brandy, what is your advice, right? Wait, pause that question. I
Okay.
gotta know. I gotta know
Uh-oh.
this. Okay, I gotta know. I'm about to make a pivot right now.
Am I about to turn off this camera? Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you ain't gonna turn it off. Okay, from Memphis, right, to Bristol, Connecticut. What was that like? Was it a culture
Ooh.
shock? What
Oh,
was that?
culture shock ain't even the word for it. You go from an urban city that's like 71, 72% Black people to Connecticut where it's like 10%. Oh, it's a culture shock. More ways than one. Oh, it was a culture shock. Please believe it was a culture shock. I was like, what? So one, it was totally different in a lot of ways, not just in the diversity, because the diversity was actually different. And I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you why. From Memphis, one way, Memphis, either you have Black, white, Chinese, and Mexican. That's it, pretty much. And it may have gotten more diversified since I left, but at that time, that was pretty much it. Up here, you got Dominican, you got Cuban, you got Puerto Rican, you have Trinidad, you have Jamaican. Like people are not just Black. No, I'm Jamaican. No, I'm Trinidadian. No, I'm from Honduras. No, I'm Afro Dominican. Right there. So many different flavors. So
Diverse.
you're not just. They'd be like, "Where you?" I'd be like, "I'm Southern." I can't tell you. I'm Southern. I don't even say I'm Black. I'm Black Southern, right? Because we don't know.
Yeah,
But a
because
lot of people up here are they're generational. They know exactly where they are, where their bloodline is, and where they come from. So it was different in that way. Secondly, Memphis is Memphis. It's grimy, it's gritty.
yeah.
Up here is one of the cleanest places. You don't see trash on the highway. Matter of fact, you get fined. Your fine is bigger for throwing paper out the window than it is from running a red light. Like throw some paper out the window, see that $400 fine come through your thing real quick. Trust me. Right? So they believe in being clean and the air clean and all this kind of stuff and recycling and all this kind of stuff. They got thugs up here recycling. You see thugs at the thing recycling, throwing in their bottles. I'm like, yo, I'm telling you, because they
Yeah.
charge 10 cents on they charge you 10 cents extra bottle. So if you go get a 6-pack of beer, you gotta pay that extra 10 cents. You like, shit, I'm about to recycle these cans and get that money back for the next one. So even the thugs recycle, right?
Yeah.
Um, but also, the weather, man, it's cold.
What?
It's
Hey,
cold when it's
Miss
coming.
Brandy, it's cold in Detroit.
It's
And,
cold, right?
and I'm not used to that, Miss Brandy.
Did you learn how to shuffle? Did you learn how to shuffle? Bend your knees. Don't use your back. Use them thighs. Just learn how to shuffle.
Hey,
That shuffle.
Miss Brandy, I have a mini coupe, right? That's no taller than the mini coupe, Miss
Yeah,
Brandy.
yeah, yeah. A couple times I couldn't find my car. I was like, I know I parked it here, and you hear it beep beep, and I was like, but I don't see nothing. Like you don't see the lights blinking. You don't hear nothing. Like, yeah, where's my car? Yeah, it's real. It's really real. So the winter was another thing, right? So I mean, and then listen, taxes. When you go to New York, California, Connecticut, them taxes hit a little differently up here. Yes, you're making more money, but them taxes ain't no joke. So it was a few things that was different from Memphis than here. Like in Connecticut, Eversource is our main power utility. Like in Memphis, you got MLJW. And I thought our bills was high in Memphis. Oh no, because up here everything is separated. Sewage is separate, electricity is separate,
Wow.
gas is separate, everything is separate. Oh, by the way, you could choose your utility company. So they have different people. You could choose who you want to buy electricity from, but only one company delivers. So my electricity bill may be $80, but they'll charge me $100 to deliver it. And I'm like, can I come pick it up? I don't need y'all to deliver it. I'll come get it, right? But it's different. So it's kind of like an antitrust thing,
Mm-hmm.
but everything is separate. And oh, by the way, in Connecticut, in New England, it's not even just Connecticut. This is a New England thing. A lot of these houses, like my house, is over 100 years old. A lot of these houses still had oil tanks. They actually run on oil.
Really?
Not, yes. And it's really, really crazy. And you be like, wait a minute, wait a minute. What you mean? I'm like, no, seriously. People, so you have to watch out for that. I'll be like, yo, I'm not doing this. So I gotta call an oil truck to come out and fill up this tank, then my basement full of oil so I can keep my house warm. Oh yes. Oh yes. It is very much like that. So I was like, no, that's not for me. So, I had to pay to get my house converted to gas and electricity so I can have central air and heat. I'm telling you, it's different. It was a different world. I was like, yo, y'all still living on oil? Like, y'all walk around with like standard oil this thing. Like, damn, they are. Standard oil is one of the biggest. And in New England, it's not here, it's Boston, it's New York, it's Connecticut, it's Vermont, it's Rhode Island, it's Massachusetts, all those places still run a lot on oil. It's really
Man.
weird. So it was culture shock to say the least. However, I have adjusted. I
Yeah.
still don't like the winters. I still don't like the snow, but Connecticut does offer a lot, especially if you have a family that Memphis just didn't offer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
in that way,
Miss Brandy, I got a question.
come on.
Well, I'm not supposed to say I got a question. I'm just supposed to say it. But
Right.
Miss Brandy, everything that you have been through, like looking back at your career, looking back on your all the things you have done, what is your advice for the young woman, young man who's trying to get to where you at? What advice you got? Because you always giving back. What is your advice to them?
Uh, it really depends on the person, honestly. Um, it really depends on the person where they are in their journey. And quickly, a lot of times when I talk to young people, I have to quickly assess that person. Can they take honest feedback? Can I be 100% true with it? Do I need to soften it up a little bit? I have maybe 30 seconds to a minute to assess that. But if you're really trying to get to where I am, listen, it's going to take some work. This is not everybody wants to be an ESPN. Network is hard, and they're the top for a reason, right? They only take the best of the best. So you have to be the best of the best, and you got to come in um, being able to handle that. And some of that is different, like being a part of corporate America. Corporate America is really different. Uh, in Memphis, we could talk about your grandmama. It didn't make no difference. They weren't about to fire you up here, and you might get fired. You can't be talking about folks, right? Not like that. Um, it's just so how to handle corporate life. How to know who is the players in this game, who make decisions, right? How do you impress the right people? How do you use your email properly, right? People keep a lot of receipts and emails, right? Things like that. But to get to this position, I think it takes, as a good director, you got to have creativity. You got to be able to pay attention to details, and you have to be able to execute. Those three main things is needed to be a good director. And you may not be 100% on all three of them, but you got to be damn sure like 75% on all of them. You know, um, I'm really, I try to push to be 100%. Creativity is my wheelhouse. I love being creative. That's my thing. Details is I'm 75%. Execution 100%. So you have to learn how to balance, and whatever your weakness is, you got to keep working at it. But you also got to have a strong team. I can't do anything without my team, and I know I have a strong team. So I'm constantly going to make sure that my team is taken care of. Because as a director, you're going to be the first one to fall on the sword. You're going to be the last one saying good job every time. When I finish a production, the first thing I'm doing is thanking everybody. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you for lending me your ear. Thank you for lending me your hand. Thank you for offering ideas. Thank you for saving my butt, because I didn't see that pitfall coming. And if they trust you, they will let you lead them off a cliff. But you gotta gain that trust, and that's very important, right? As some other things, you got to be strong, because in our field, you get a lot of feedback, good or bad. Producers can mess up, but if we mess up, if I mess up on my show, a few million people that saw that screw up. It's a lot of weight. I beat myself up when I mess up. I don't like it. But also, you have to learn how to when to shake it off and come back the next day and be like, "Yep, I won't do that one again. Let's try something else this time." So, but those three things is really what you need to be a good director. And you have to be a little gritty with it. You have to be persistent. You have to be ready for it. When that challenge comes, you have to be ready. If you are not ready, you will never get that chance again.
Miss Brandy, right quick, right quick.
Right quick.
What are some highs and low moments of your career?
Ooh, I think the highest I would say right now is when I was able to take my show back to my alma mater. That was huge. And too many people could say that they took their show because of decisions and work I put in. But we're going back. Their first take went back to went to TSU and showed out. Like it was crazy. Like it was crazy. And I got a chance to show people what it means to be at HBCU. And I'm not saying the rest of them was not good. Clark and Howard also they were great. But it was a different pride being back at your own.
Yeah.
And be like, nah, this is how we get down. You know what I'm saying? Nah, this is how we get down. Ooh, you see them things came out? Whoa! Right. It was a different feel, right? Like it really was. I'm like, yo, like, and not only that, I put my school in a positive light,
Yeah.
which which I'm glad I did because behind that the devil came back and there was storms and craziness and everything, right? But to put your school in a positive light, how many people can say they done that and showcased and brought in a major show, a number one rated show to their school to put a positive light and spin on it, to show the people what we are and who we are and why we're the best. So that was the high. That was easily just like, you couldn't tell me nothing, man. I was so exhausted by the end of it. Everybody's like, you going out? I was like, no, I'm going to sleep. I got to go to sleep because I hadn't slept. I was like, I got to go to sleep. I got to go to sleep. I got to go to sleep. I think I went back to my hotel room and slept like 6 hours straight. I woke up to like 100 missed texts, 35 missed calls. It didn't even matter. But then when other people saw your work, like even, but Stephen A. be like, Brandy, that was good. I wasn't expecting that. Even Cam was like, damn, B, man, that make me want to go. It was something special, It
Yeah.
was really something special. So that was, it was crazy. I loved it. I loved every moment of it. Some of the lows, you know, um, I think the first couple times I got passed over as a director to get promoted. It's hard, and you know this in this field. I tell people all the time, this field is small. It's only 6 female Black directors in network. That's across CBS, NBC, TNT. It's only 6 of us. That is a very small number compared to our white counterparts. Very small numbers. And so and I'm talking about it's so small that we all know each other. We all got each other's phone number. We all communicate. It's very small. We haven't communicated in a while. We probably should do that. But, it's a very small number. So it's amazing. You have to still say, I'm the first. Like, even in 2025, we still say, I'm the first. That's crazy. Like, that's insane. But it's still that. And so that was one of the lows. But once I got the position, I knew then that the fight wasn't over. The fight really had just begun. It was just on a different platform. But it was hurt to see other people a couple times I really did get down. I was really in a dark place for a while.
Man, Miss Brandy. Amazing. Last one of the day, Miss Brandy.
Man, that was quick. Okay, come on.
Last one of the day, Miss Brandy. Wait on Under the Hood Sports. We always talk about goals because I feel
Okay.
like if you don't have a goal, where are you going? Miss
Mm-hmm.
Brandy, right quick, give me one goal that you have right now.
One goal
In
that
your
I have right
career
now.
or not in your career at all, just one goal.
I'll give you a couple minds. One goal in my career is to figure out what my next step is going to be. Because now what I'm learning is eventually I want to be a vice president of production. I want to continue to make change. I may have been one of the first ones to come through the door at ESPN, but I won't be the last. I, we got 3 or 4 more women right behind me. You know what I'm saying? I'm making sure that the door stay open. That door will never close again. It's gonna bust open. It's gonna be open for a while. So now I need to go. Now I want to transition to other things to make sure that door opens up even wider. I want to be over productions. I want to give, it's a thing to be able to give people opportunities. Better say, you know what? I see something in you. Let's grow. Let's try to figure it out. Right before the camera. I mean, in front of the camera, behind the camera, in the trenches. I want to continue to help people. Good, bad, ugly. I don't care. I just want to continue to grow. And right now we had a pivot in media, right? Because now you have a lot more podcasts. You got a lot more players who can do their own media things, who can really change. They're really changing. This landscape is changing. Yeah. And in our company, I'm in very good communication with the head of our company. If we don't figure out what the next step is, we're going to be left behind. I want to be part of the future, not always part of the past. So that goal is to continue to be part of the future, continue to build, continue to change, continue to see what the next step is, continue to give people opportunities. And, it always has to be in media. It can be something else, but whatever it is, continue doing that. Personally, I just want to get healthier. Sometimes the stress, the higher you go, the more stress and less sleep and things like that. I got to learn that balance. I know it's supposed to be a work-life balance. You get the balance when you can. I'm a single mom. I get the balance when I can. Yeah. Right? I am a traveler. I love to travel. So in the next 2 years, I want to get to Greece. That's the next thing on my list. It's Greece. And buy some more properties. Keep reinventing myself. Own a couple of properties. I want to keep growing. Because you can't let that be your only income. I may not punch a 9 to 5 every day, but I got a couple hustles. I got to keep it going. I would not be working till I'm 80. That is not the goal. Can't do it.
I know that's right.
Can't do it.
Miss Brandy, thanks again for coming on. Like I said, this meant a lot to me because when I think about woman history and the woman who really helped me in my career, my journey, that is you, especially in sports. Especially when it comes to sports. Like women in sports especially, you're the name who always shine the brightest for me. So
man, I thought you were going to with some hard questions like who you picking your brackets or something like that. I'm going to be like,
no. Miss Brandy, next time.
It might be a little heat. Next time we come with the heat. But next time we come with the heat. Okay, all right. I'm just saying,
Next time. But today we just celebrating you. We celebrating.
I'm about to say, I was about to be ready for you. I'd be like, yo, I was gonna come with you. I was ready for you. Take it anywhere you want to. I was ready.
Hey, Miss Brandy, don't worry. We're gonna do so. But thank you for tuning in to Under the Hood Sport. This is Miss Brandy. Amen. And we are out of here.